My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Samas, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Yeah, John cut the recording of Jasmine Paolini just before he was about to say, Jasmine, wow, marry me. But anyway, hello bunch, last ball drops, day 2. Yesterday I was here with Mario, today I'm here with Vanch. Where do you want to start? Are we going to talk about the men's first, the women's?
Let's talk about the match that has everyone's attention. Giovanni Pecci Pericard versus Sebastian Korda.
I actually had no idea what you were going to say, but okay.
Yeah, I think that's the match that I probably watched the most of, which,
Unfortunately, me too.
Yeah. But yeah, where to start? I mean, Pecci hit 51 aces. That's more than actually Federer hit against Roddick in the 2009 Wimbledon final, which was exactly 50. But more than that, I mean, he broke serve once, which was in the 5th set. He won that set 6-3, four tie breaks in a row, saved 11 out of 11 break points. So yeah, what stands out to you? Like, I guess it's mainly about the tie breaks and the eventual break that clinched it.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of about it was a total lottery, like we expected, maybe even more than we expected. The reason why I said unfortunately I did see a lot of it was because I did the stream for that. And well, I did not expect to spend 6 hours doing that much. Of course, part of that was the rain delays, but it wasn't like during the rain delays I was too relaxed, just kind of waiting around and being a bit frustrated with it. But yeah, just in general, as you said, 11 breakpoints, and it never really felt like Korda had any shot on like literally any of them.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And I guess the other would be maybe the fact that Pecci Pericard was hitting like some of these sick half volleys as well. Like that's something that he didn't really have prior to this year either. But yeah, just in general, it was kind of unwatchable.
Yeah, I guess Korda will have some regrets. Maybe the first set tiebreak, he's up 5-2. A couple of passing shots that he certainly had looks at. Certainly, still you could call them forced errors. But then at 5-4, he misses an easy forehand, and then he double faults at 5-all. And I think that was tough for him to lose that set from 5-2 up in the breaker, lose 5 points in a row. Does well to win the second set tiebreak, and then third set tiebreak, he's up 2-love, hits kind of this softest second serve, middle of the box. Pericard does really well, punishes it, gets the break back, and then they actually have a pretty nice tiebreak from there when Pericard takes it 8-6. And then, yeah, I mean, then you have the fourth set, and then they have the stoppage. I think it was like 2-1 in the fourth set tiebreak when they suspended it again. I mean, this match literally went over 6 hours, actually, now that you're saying it. Yeah, because of the, yeah.
I know exactly how long it was because I could see how long the stream was on.
Yeah. I know some people are bringing this up on Twitter, the Sebastian Korda at Wimbledon after that press conference in Queens. I mean, I don't think this year has anything to do with it really, but yeah, I mean, yeah, tough. It was going to be a tough first round for him either way, right? Against either.
I think it was still going to be more manageable against Davidovich Fokina.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Mahac right now is crying that Andy Murray pulled out.
Yeah, and then he's down a set in a break to go fun.
Exactly. In these two cases, the lucky loser ended up being the tougher option. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned the interview. Sure, this year there was nothing like that, but just to lose in the opening round at Wimbledon as Sebastian Korda twice in a row, it's pretty horrible. Must be pretty frustrating. And it's kind of the same match that he lost. Just a player who's giving him no rhythm and completely taking the racket out of his hands in a way. But yeah, there were a few moments when he could have done better. Although not the breakpoints, because there was literally nothing for him to do on these 11 breakpoints, which is just insane.
Yeah, definitely. And then, of course, yeah, as we said, Pericard also on the second serve, really, really aggressive. A lot of second serve aces, like really high speeds. was also more solid from the back of the court, especially in the fifth set, where it was actually Korda's forehand that leaked an error on break point, I think. So
It
then,
did, yeah.
yeah, to go up 3-love, and then it was just easy holds from there. So yeah, pretty good effort, because I think his game actually works pretty well on clay and grass, if you look at it. So
It
yeah,
works
gonna be
really well
interesting seeing
on hard courts too. I think grass
Yeah.
is probably his worst, actually, because this is the one where like he really cannot show any of the improvements he's made this year. It just really becomes about that serve. But
Yeah, it
well,
was-
the volleying as well was really good the entire match.
yeah, a lot of really, really good half volleys, very good touch.
In key moments as well, and yeah, lots of just like volleys that should have been uncomfortable, but he just made it not.
Yes,
Um,
indeed.
mhm.
Yeah. So where do you want to go next in terms of
Let's
the men's
just
match?
keep with the men's then. If we started in Petri Petty card, Francisco Comesania beating Andrei Rublev. I think I even said something yesterday on Last Ball Drops, like, so of course, the seeds are fragile in that section, but Roberto Carballes Baena won't defeat Alexander Zverev, obviously. Taro Daniel won't defeat Stefanos Tsitsipas, obviously, and Francisco Comesania won't defeat Andrei Rublev, obviously. And well, one of these three things actually happened. I was, one thing amazed, like, if you think about it, it makes a bit of sense because Comesania is like a bit more adaptable. Last year, when they moved the last two matches in Liberec to a rapid indoor hard court, from a clay challenger, he was the one who fared the best, despite like having some players like Kodat or Blanchet there. At the US Open, he looked pretty good, but like just the last 2 months, he hadn't really recovered, I guess I should say by now, from the calf injury. And he comes out, and the way he was serving, the killer slice, which is definitely something we haven't seen from him on clay courts. Just in general, the aggressive mindset he has when he's confident, and especially I think with the crowd. I mean, how much they were behind him there. That must have been a really magical feeling for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the slice was so huge. So was the serve. Also bringing Andre forward, and like just also like the aggressive returns. Like in the fourth set tiebreak, he comes in on the 2-0 point, just attacks Rublev's second serve. Like it's a really nice drive backhand. Like gets the mini break, and just yeah, his composure at the end was very impressive. Rublev did have that one chance, set point 5-4, fourth set. Should have done more with the passing shot, didn't, and that was his one chance. Then he probably takes that to a fifth, and he's the favorite from there. But it was still, yeah, that was really quite something. And I guess a lot of the talk is going to be also about Andre's composure now in general, when it comes to like hitting the racket against his knee and stuff like that. So yeah, we have seen a lot more of that from Andre this year for sure. Except for Madrid is like the exception, where he was just sick as a dog, and couldn't afford to do that, couldn't afford to waste any energy outside of just the points and tactics. So he's still 8th in the points race, but I think he's going to go down quite a bit after this. And yeah, usually in the past he's been able to make the ATP finals all 4 years now. But yeah, this year is going to be a little bit more of an uphill climb from him in the second half of the year. So yeah, wonder where he goes from here.
Yeah, and also some guys in the chat here talking about the Petri Pericard's draw to make the quarters. I mean, there is that quarter right now, like, only has Stefanos Tsitsipas really as like a massive name in terms of making the quarters, not as the whole quarter, because the other one, of course, still has Fritz, Draper, Zverev. But that top section of that quarter, Lorenzo Musetti, Stefanos Tsitsipas, if not, yeah, I mean, an opportunity could open up. And with Rublev, yeah, as you said, I mean, today was especially, I think, in terms of some of his behavior today, it was especially threatening to himself, not to anyone else, but to himself. I don't really know what the rules state exactly. It probably could be considered unsportsmanlike conduct. I think it easily could, actually. But yeah, to me, of course, I was maybe more focusing on the match, but yeah, it's just more of an escalation, it seems, of what Rublev has been doing in the past 2-3 months. Besides that Madrid run, where I think you're right to point out that he was just too sick to do it, literally.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, so that was the biggest name that fell today on the men's side. But we also had Draper, who was pushed to 5 sets by Emer, the Elias Emer. not Mikhail, who is still
And not
retired,
Rafael.
but is coming back.
Not Rafael Imer either, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about this, to be honest. I mean, 5 sets against Elias Imer should not be happening really to Jack. Elias Imer,
Yeah.
of course, very capable of playing just like insane tennis on the day. He's carried high of like 105 is a bit of a joke, definitely. Although at this stage it looks like he might never break the top 100. And I don't know. I mean, the 5th set, at least Jack handled pretty professionally. There was no sign of cramping. So that's probably a good sign. But, he knows that he kind of will need to be better in the next rounds, especially third round onwards. I don't think it really changes my position in regards to the Draper-Zverev matchup being probably like, having Jack as a slight favorite there in the third round. But it does raise some questions. I mean, what happened today? And certainly if he went out, I mean, that would have been so disappointing for him and for the entire nation of Great Britain.
Yeah, absolutely. For Emer, were you surprised how well he was striking the ball from the back of the court? Taking his backhand really early cross, getting a lot of shorter forehands from Draper, like just being more imposing with the forehand as well, which you don't normally associate with him.
I don't know if you don't. I mean, Elias Ymer is just such a wild beast, He's always had the talent, but I don't know, just generally, he often plays like very gutlessly in maybe not in big matches, but actually in matches he should be winning. In big matches, he steps up. And yeah, I mean, we've seen some absurd peak performances over the years from Ymer. I don't know if my favorite, or maybe it's recency bias, but my favorite might be that one over Hanfman at Roland Garros qualies last year, when Hanfman was like such a huge favorite to qualify in that form. And yeah, it happens for him from time to time, even if this year has been absolutely horrific, other than that one run in the to the Oiras final.
Yeah. I mean, in general, do you feel like he was playing above his ranking today? For sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's like, what, 205 right now or something like that, right?
Wow, yeah, that's
and that's not an accurate reflection of his potential or talent, but it is what it is. I mean, it's also not really like wrong for him to be there because that's how he's been playing most of the time the last 12 months. But yeah, it's not an accurate reflection of his talent, of course not. But yeah, I mean, Jack moves on. Was it the pressure of like being looked at as the great British hope this event? I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. He's gonna have to sharpen up for sure in the next match against. Oh, who does he play? Oh, yeah, plays Nori next. Yeah, Nori won in straight.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna have to sharpen up. Maybe I'm a little harsh on Cam, but just the last few matches, the last few events that I've seen him at were pretty rough, and that's all I'm saying, really.
I wonder if he'll just play a lot better now because of no one's really kind of looking at him to win this match, do anything really big this tournament. And
could be a factor.
Today helps for sure.
Could be a factor, yeah. Today, of course, he had Diaz Acosta, who was like pretty much injured, but yeah, some of the recent performances to Pennington Jones or to Rusev maybe even, especially in straights and Eastbourne, like that was scary. But I do understand what you just said, that like it could be a factor that he just comes out against Jack. Everyone's just expecting Jack to pull through, and maybe that opens him up some way. We had some easy wins as well for the main players, but I think especially Djokovic, we kind of have to talk about. I mean, there was not much to talk about the actual match, but that's good for Novak, right? Like that's precisely what he wanted, and that's precisely what the draw basically gave him.
Yeah, I watched very, very little of this match because there was just it wasn't tight whatsoever, and there were just so many other matches going on. But yeah, I heard that he looked really well, really good, and didn't really have to push his knee that much, which I guess is a good thing for him. Especially the first. It's so good that the first 3 rounds for him are just manageable, and he can just work his way into the tournament. And then, 4th round is really when the questions arise. But I guess we also had a straight set win for Holger Rune, which will help. That means that match is still maybe going to happen. We still have, they still have to win 2 more matches each. But yeah, getting through Sun Wukong in straights.
Yeah, I mean. That's a similar non-match like Djokovic Kupliva to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, for Rune still there are problems like Alice or Eubanks, for example, right? I don't think we'll know much before he actually plays them. I mean, you kind of had to expect that he's gonna beat Kwon, although in his case, sure, in Rune's case, it might sometimes be tricky. He lost to Kwon actually, right? Australia, 2022 was it by now?
Yeah,
maybe
you're
yeah,
right. He did.
maybe 2022. But of course, that was like ages ago. So. Nori has a great shot, says Prafam in the chat. Appeared a bit anxious, says Matthew, about Draper. And yeah, Matthew also said that he said pre-tournament that Nori has a serious chance to beat Draper and was told that no chance as Nori out of form. That's what I still think, but we'll see. Nothing will resume today, John. Yeah, as Matthew told you, I guess we already answered anything else. All right, what else? Hubert Hurkacz was a bit like bothered by Radu Albot for a while. I mean, given it's Hubert Hurkacz in an early slam round, I guess that's still a pretty solid win for him.
Yeah, it's fine. He sort of came through and wasn't playing that well, but you know. You also had who else won really easily today? Yeah, Fritz won really easily against O'Connell. Like just very businesslike. He also hit one of the shots of the tournament.
Chris. I mean,
Just
first match
running-
in 2 months for Chris. He was withdrawing from events left and right with a shoulder injury. Kind of had to be like it, but it's very good for Fritz to move on today because he was one of these guys who did not really look like they might do it. Like that, it was just looking like the race with time is not going to be possible. But because the match was so short.
Yep. We also had a ton of suspended matches. Nishikori Rinderknecht, for instance, Puyi Jare. Those are 2 matches where, yeah, you think the player who doesn't have the momentum, they have a chance tomorrow. Turn that around, basically best of 3 for both.
Yeah, Jared totally blew the second set. So, like, it's likely that if they kept playing today, Puyi would have had the upper hand.
Right.
But, of course, tomorrow it's just like a straight-up restart. It's also a straight-up restart in the 5th set for Safiullin and Cerundolo, which is also one of these matches where, like, Fran was 2 sets to love up. He had some MTO, and then all the momentum is with Safiullin, so he's going to be very happy about it. And, yeah, Nishikori could definitely use a breather, too. I believe, and Aurelius Team Kokinakis as well kind of had a big story with the suspension today, right?
4 set points for Felix in the tiebreak.
Match
2
points,
of them is match points. 2 on his serve, I think, as well, and he had just got a little bit tight, and Kokinakis just hangs around in these matches. I mean, he really doesn't go away. He loves pulling out these gutsy 5-set wins. Actually, he's kind of known for that earlier on in slams. So. You know, he almost made that 2 sets to love comeback at Roland Garros against Fritz and just wouldn't go away for a while. But yeah, I also thought that if that match kept going, you know, maybe Kokinakis pushes that to 5-2. But what else happened today? I mean, you had Kuboli beating Hijikata in 4. You had Giron coming through in 4 as well. I think Giron plays Zverev next, right? So maybe that'll be more challenging for Zverev. Certainly more challenging than Carballes Baena today.
Yeah, I didn't remember who Giron played next. For some reason, I was kind of skipping over that match, but perhaps I shouldn't be. Like, as you said, I mean, or as you at least hinted at, Marcos Giron definitely playing some great tennis. This grass swing, maybe that's not really as easy as it might seem. Matthew a bit disappointed in the chat with the Felix choke in the 3rd set tiebreak. We also had Saboville job at the beginning of the day, which was a little crazy. I mean, Paul had a match point, I think, even in the 3rd set. Then by the 5th, he was like very deflated physically, and then he still comes back, saving a few match points himself. It's another 5-set loss for him at Wimbledon after Jab Kyrgios, of course. Today, I realized today that a lot of people misremember that match. Someone was trying to tell me that Jab had a 2-set lead also in that one against Kyrgios, but yeah, of course, that was not the case. Not even close, in fact.
No, yeah. If I remember, he had 2 break points at 5-0 in the 5th. And then
that's the only moment where like he could have had a lead. Otherwise, he never led in the entire match.
Right.
Or maybe he won the 1st set or something like that. But anyway, like he never had a sizable lead. Let's say that.
Yeah, Timonor won in 3 tiebreaks. I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, and I think Duckworth served for like at least 2 sets. Like Duckworth had a lead every single set. So good for Alex to survive in 3 for sure. But it probably should not have been 3.
Mm-hmm. I guess the great run of Billy Harris on the grass courts of the UK has also come to an end.
Yeah, and I think that kind of also ends the conversation on his possible top 100 push because, I mean, if you're not winning this much, how are you ever going to win a match at Wimbledon? And, by October, a lot of points will start dropping for him as well. Of course, he was very close. He was just one match away, one set away when he played Purcell recently in the Eastbourne semis. But yeah, that's a brutal one. I think, Jaume Munar isn't maybe like top 5 easiest draws in the event, but he's not that far off. One of the top 5 easiest draws in the event was Federico Coria, for example, and that there was no issue from Adam Walton trying to clinch that one. One match that I wish I watched, but there was just too much happening, was Phil Stricker. Usually really like up my alley, right? But I just didn't get to it in time today.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. I mean, it was mostly Feast just being very dominant on his serve and forehand, and I didn't see the part where Stricker won the third set in the tiebreak. There was too much other stuff happening, but yeah, seems like it was fairly routine after that. Actually, it wasn't routine for Musetti because Lestian, he almost took it 2 sets to the lead. I think he served for it and had 2 set points maybe on his serve for 2 sets to love. So that was looking quite worrying for him for a while, especially got to the Queen's final. This is someone people are really looking at to make the second week now.
Yeah, after Rublev went out, I think the draw is there for Lorenzo. I don't think he has to beat Darderi. There was a question in the chat about it a while ago. I don't know. It just seems like Darderi has also had a pretty good start to the grass swing. Of course, he has a serve as well. It's not like, one of these clay specialists who cannot serve. So, but yeah, I mean, Lorenzo, sure, he has developed a normal grass game. He's been pretty consistent on the surface as well. I do like his chances as like one of the main options there for sure, but I don't think it's a guarantee. And certainly he did well to recover today as he was super close to going out. And I guess maybe one more like big-ish story on the men's side here was also Shelton. Today, I didn't see the match. I watched the entire 3 sets against Bellucci yesterday. And well, it didn't look to me like he was going to mount a comeback, but that's precisely what he did.
Yeah, this was like way too early in the morning, but I didn't get to catch it. But yeah, I did see some of it yesterday, and it wasn't looking good for Ben. Actually, it was Bellucci wasn't like won that third set pretty handily, and looked like the better player. So good for Shelton. I mean, now he has a pretty tough second round, right? I mean, against Lloyd Harris.
Lloyd Harris. I think he's the underdog. I mean, just given his return game.
Yeah, I think so. Lloyd Harris still with the shot of the tournament, one of the shots of the year on match point yesterday. So if you haven't seen that, you should check it out.
The match point. Yeah.
And he had to save a match point there as well. Yeah, he had saved a match point, and he was down 5-8 in the super tiebreak. Tough one for Mickelson, but Harris coming through qualies and took a set off of Federer here 5 years ago in the first round. And in general, he seems to be back to playing some good tennis, like he did in 2021. But yeah, any other like main stories on the men's side before we go to the women's? Obviously, also Andy Murray not getting the chance to play, the singles. That's a bit of a blow, but yeah, hopefully he'll get a good send off when he does play the doubles with his brother. What's that? I think Damien might be frozen. And we've lost Damien. But I'm going to go through the chat. Matthew says Shelton versus Harris. Harris will fancy that. Yeah, definitely. I think he's actually the favorite, Harris, for sure. Let's see if Damien comes back rather pretty soon. Why not Shelton? Yeah, I mean, right now I just think Shelton's return game is a bit volatile in general, and he's just hasn't really adapted that well to the grass. He still looks pretty new on it. I don't think he's moving that well either. I didn't see the last 2 sets today, so maybe he found something there. But I just think Lloyd with the big serve, big forehand. Shelton not quite so comfortable right now on the grass in general, and it's just too up and down, especially with his shot selection. The return game mostly. I think the backhand still the slices, kind of giving him some trouble, not quite finishing as well as he normally does on the hard courts, especially when he's at net. Yeah, I don't know. Right now, his game is not as well suited to the grass as some people thought it would be. But he's still fairly new on it. Still only his second year playing it. He could still definitely win. It is just like a very lottery type of match, and maybe Harris, with the confidence from coming back from 2 sets to love down, maybe I make him a slight favorite, but not by much. Let's see.
Okay, should be back now. So yeah, what did you talk about while I was gone?
Mostly about Shelton versus Harrison, who's the favorite, and why I picked Harris slightly.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Djokovic already, John, and Musetti as well. So I think we might as well move on to the women's now, and then we'll probably also get to the preview sort of at the end of tomorrow. I guess all the rounds of matches that didn't start.
Before we move on to the women's, any last thoughts?
Well, that didn't start, I guess, not really, right? But especially the ones that are suspended are always second up. It's not that obvious, I think. But yeah, it was pretty funny as well to me, because today Wawrinka and Sakari were complaining, right, about the potential, like how they don't still have the schedule. And I was just reading it and thinking, do you really want the schedule when they still don't know which matches will be finished and which will not? And like, it will completely, just completely mess it up. I don't know.
Yeah. So actually, before we move on to the women's, any last thoughts on Murray not getting to play his first round against Mahach? Just the fact that the last match we would have seen from him would indeed be that loss to Stefanos Tsitsipas in 5 sets.
It was a good match, It was a decent match to go out on. I think, by the way, Matthew, you're right that every single first round that was not started today, I think, is starting tomorrow. But the matches that are suspended, they are the second up in almost every case, actually. I think even in every case. But yeah, Murray, sure. I mean, it would have been amazing if he still plays the doubles. It's not that bad, and especially I think they will get like center or court one at the very least. So I think they're probably going to be okay in that sense. But yeah, just in general with Murray, of course, it would be amazing if he played just one more time at Wimbledon. I don't think he would have had a shot at Mahach. But if he didn't feel like he was going to be competitive, I mean, surely it's the right call. Seems like he's still focused on like retiring this month, really, even, right? Despite the fact that he can't play here. So, well, I think this year the body has been very clearly telling him no, and he has to react to it somehow.
Yeah, I think he'll probably just play the Olympics one more time. I don't even know if he'll be able to play singles at the Olympics.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? I mean, he's just gonna play a clay event now to finish his career. Kind of not fitting for the goodbye of Murray. But I mean, he won the event twice, of course, on grass and on hard. But still,
yeah.
Is he the only 2-time Olympic champion? I guess so, right?
Yeah, the only one in ever. Really ever, actually. I mean, the Olympics hasn't been around that long, only since 1988.
Yeah, 88. So I think he is the only. Miroslav Mecic won the first edition. Like Rosset, Agassi, right? Yeah, I think he is the first. I think he is the only 2-time champ. I'm pretty sure about that. But yeah, we might move on to the women's now, and we had a pretty big story there. I don't know if it's something that really changes how we view the event, but still, the defending champion losing in the first round for the first time in 30 years. That's pretty crazy. And Marketa Vondrousova went out to Buzas Maneiro, loses 45% of her ranking points.
Yeah, I think going to be outside the top 15 now.
She is 15th in the live ranking right now, I believe. But pretty much, yeah, she'll be like 16 to 20 range probably.
Yeah, I think there were some doubts about her coming into the tournament with the fall that she had in Berlin, because she was actually playing pretty well in that match, and then just fell and then like injured her hip. I don't know how much of a factor that really was in today's performance, but yeah, she definitely looked like kind of very nervy, like just missing a lot of backhands into the net. Kind of the footwork a bit, definitely not as sharp, not even close to what we saw last year. She didn't serve well either, so she just really didn't manage to play her best level like at all, and Jessica was just super steady and kind of not missing, and just yeah took advantage. I actually didn't get to see most of this match, but that's kind of what I read about it.
Yeah, I also kind of missed it mostly because of that Petri Pericard Korda
Yeah,
stream that we did.
same.
But basically, yeah, I don't think I was really treating Vondrousova as a serious factor anyway, which is ironic given that she won the last edition. And that was already a huge surprise, but it kind of didn't really influence her position going into this event. I think a ranking that she will have right now, 15-20, is very fair for her, especially going forwards. At the French, I will definitely be looking at her as a potential contender in the years to come. Wimbledon, not so much, but of course it will always be something that we will look at going into the event, or like just any of her matches at Wimbledon. That she's a former champion, and she's got that under her belt. No one can take that away from her, despite the loss today. And the previous defending champion at Wimbledon to lose in the round one was Steffi Graf. So, well, it's not like, it
Yeah.
was another kind of unexpected champion going out 30 years ago. A champion that some people are expecting this year is Iga Swiatek, who played Sofia Kenin again today. Not quite as sticky as at the Australian Open, the opening set, definitely not. This time the second was closer, but still kind of a similar match to me. Just like, Kenin coming out with this very, very aggressive game plan, playing much better than most of the year for sure. I mean, it probably wouldn't be like crazy to say that this year she's played 3 very good matches, and 2 of them were against Swiatek, 1 against Jabeur when she beat her in Rome. But she really steps up for these big ones on the stage, and also just that aggression she came out with is kind of unsustainable in the long run for her.
Yeah, definitely. Swiatek also getting a lot of purchase out of her serve. Also, Kenin is like one of the easier players to ace, but still Swiatek 6 aces in this match. Lost just 5 points behind her for serve in general. Yeah, was just.
I think with all these stats on the Swiatek serve, I have to say we kind of have to remember how Kenin was trying to return, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I was going to say. And she is like statistically the easiest player to ace amongst the top 50 based on tennis abstract. So you can
and
kind
even
of
the
understand why.
percentages too, right? I mean, I saw some like Polish journalists freaking out about 84% on first serve points won. But I mean, Kenin was trying to slam every return, so I think the second set from Iga was a little more impressive, even the way she was sometimes like really putting Sonia out of the court and basically disallowing her to keep up that aggressive game plan.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing that makes this a little tougher for Iga is also like the low bounce. The way the ball just like goes really fast into her forehand. She just has to be able to control that with the extreme grip. I think that's like the main thing, and just the sort of movement. And I guess for the first match, it's pretty good, right? Like first match against a pretty tricky opponent on with no glass lead-ins. Her next round will be against Petra Martic, who she did play and beat here last year in straight sets. They had a pretty tight second set though. So yeah, things are looking good for Iga to get to that match against potentially Ostapenko. I mean, because I say Ostapenko because she beat Tomjanovic today 6-1, 6-2, and really just blew her off the court. So
yeah, the average rally length in that match 1.9, which that's kind of weird, but okay. I mean, what was Tomljanovic doing on serve or like on return? I don't really know. I didn't watch much of that.
Watching the ball go by her.
I was definitely expecting Tomljanovic to be like a little more dangerous there. I mean, she's just made the final at the grass court event. Obviously, a very good grass court in her own right. Wimbledon quarterfinalist. But yeah, I mean, Swiatek, Martic, I don't really think Martic is a pushover. Iga was probably good enough today to win. The potential issues that you mentioned, they weren't really a thing today, I think, even when Kenin was getting with her into like a fast-paced cross-court forehand rally.
Yeah,
it was usually Swiatek winning it.
Yeah, it definitely held up well today, I felt like.
Yeah. Like, even when they were getting into like a longer forehand exchange, it was always Iga winning it. In general, any longer exchange, she was winning it, which is, again, the same with the Australian Open, right? I think in the opening set at the Australian Open, I checked that today, it was like 25-9 for Iga when the point went over 5 shots or something like that.
Yep.
And that was a very tight set, right? And today I couldn't find the rally length stats on the Wimbledon website, but it felt
Yeah,
similar.
those.
It felt similar that like any time a point is longer than 5 shots, Swiatek is gonna win 70% of the time. And it makes sense. I mean, that's kind of why that's very early aggression from Kenyan is kind of unsustainable. And she doesn't always play like this, but she does against Iga, clearly trying to like throw her off that way. And maybe it's good. Someone who did lose and it was very quick today. 54 minutes. I don't know if you know who I'm referring to.
I do. It is Alicia
Ah.
Parks. Yeah, I mean she was on this great streak, she was winning all these matches on grass, albeit at the lower level, but still like, oh yeah, you really thought this was going to be more of a match. But Wozniacki was just pretty solid, and like Parks just kind of imploded, like just does what Parks does.
Yeah. I think she hit like 35 unforced errors or something like that in 54 minutes. That kind of already tells you a lot of the story of the
Really not
match.
bad.
Wozniacki was like 4-4 on winners and first errors or something like that. Just a ridiculous match. And yeah, she does it all the time, sure. But yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, there was that win streak. You kind of thought maybe this is another December 2022 when she just fires up and is unbeatable for about 2 or maybe 2 months is a stretch, but about let's say 4 weeks. And it ended very abruptly, let's say, and in disappointing fashion to Wozniacki, who I think made her return to Wimbledon after 5 years.
Yeah, and then that if now Wozniacki plays Fernandez next, and then that's the Rybakina section of the draw. So also you have Leila coming off of a very good week, reaching the final, losing to Kazakina in Eastbourne.
Yeah, someone mentioned in the chat earlier Avanesian and Kalinina. I honestly forgot that match even was on the schedule today. But yeah, Avanesian won that one in straight sets. Okay. Friend of the show, Alina Avanesian. Though she's not actually recorded saying that she's a friend of the show, but she is one of the more OG friends of the show. But yeah, overall, it seems like on the women's side today, like a lot of the favorites progress, right? Like you've got Jabber beating Uchima in 2 sets. You've got Rybakina beating Ruse, and you've got Pegula beating Kruger. So anything about any of these matches? Just was it all very comfortable for these big time favorites?
Yeah, I mean Pegula I thought would be a little bit tighter than 6-2, 6-0 for sure, but yeah, I guess that also shows you Pegula is in really good form. Who else today? I actually thought that maybe a potential upset watch was Blinkova against Garcia. I thought there was definitely a chance for Blinkova to pull off that upset, but yeah, I mean Garcia just really escaped, and actually she is one to watch in this section for sure, especially if she came through a match like she did today. Pudinseva Kerber was also another one, that was one of the more intriguing first round matches. So yeah, there is going to be. We'll see how many more chances Angelique Kerber really has to play Wimbledon again, because she has. It's actually been a pretty big part of this event for the last 10 years.
Pudinseva Kerber. I heard about some great rallies in that one, but I didn't actually catch any of it.
Yeah,
so
same.
I'm not sure about it. Yeah. What else was there? I guess a few memorable matches earlier in the day. Buksa Bogdan 2-1. That was like something when they stopped them like 2 points away from the match or something like that. But again, I didn't see much of it because I was doing Korda and Pecci Pericard. Korda and Pecci Pericard really ruined my day, I have to say.
That was the match I was most interested in today. For like, I felt like on the men's side, that's the one that I wanted to spend most. So I'm not surprised you did a live stream on it, because like that is
exactly. Yeah, it was my suggestion, not John's. It was my suggestion that I could do that one. I just wish it wasn't 6 hours, and I wish it wasn't dot serve based. Like, sure, I knew what I was getting into, but yeah, I had to like take a breather really after watching that one, and I feel like I'm still in recovery, but hopefully tomorrow will be another day. and it will
Yeah.
bring us some more entertaining classics and not ones that the first break happens in like the 50th game or whatever it was. Garcia x Rybakina, perhaps. I think Garcia is the fourth round for Swiatek potentially, right? And Rybakina is the
third
semi,
round
so.
is Ostapenko, so it could be Ostapenko Garcia third round, and then.
So yeah, it would have to be like Garcia Rybakina. That would have to be a semi, but well, I mean, if Garcia beats Ostapenko at Swiatek, why not?
Yeah, there's also, I think, Kaya Samsonova in that section. Samsonova also won in 3 today against Masterova. So the reason I bring up Samsonova is she has a 4-1 head-to-head over Rybakina. Rybakina beat her for the first time this year, Abu Dhabi. So yeah, I mean the fourth rounds, there are like so many compelling fourth rounds. If you think about it now, like potential if we actually do get them. So of course you also have Pegula Jabeur, which is a potential fourth round. You have Swiatek Ostapenko, potential fourth round. Rybakina, Samsonova, maybe even Kaya. That would also be interesting. Yeah, let's see if there's anything else really here. Laura Sigmund, friend of the show, she won rather comfortably. Didn't see the match, but oh yeah, Potapova lost. Potapova lost to Bernarda Pera.
Okay, yeah. I didn't even notice, to be honest. That's another match I kind of missed. But yeah, pretty crazy finish, it seems, as well. And she was 5-2 up. She had too much points.
Yep.
In the third. So again, doesn't seem like it's a big story. I guess Katie Bolter as well getting through that scrap against Tatiana Maria was pretty big.
Yeah.
That puts her into another matchup with Harriet Dart, whom, well, unsurprisingly, she's been like kinda dominating in that matchup. I mean, she's just a way better player, I think, overall. So
yeah, I think Bolter versus Pegula is one to watch this year, especially because I think Bolter beat Pegula in United Cup. That's right. That was when she won.
Yeah. And Katie Bolter has a 6-1 lead in the head-to-head over Dart. She once lost to her in 2018, but the 3 recent matches, I mean, the one this year in the Nottingham first round was actually really close, but I feel like that might actually be pretty like an exception rather than the rule between them, but we'll see. Yes, we've done Vondrousova. That was actually the very first women's match that we covered. And unless we have much more to talk about on the women's side, I think we might as well talk about what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess we also had Collins and Towson. Although that match is that match
that was suspended. Yeah.
So
is that the only one? Is that the only one that was suspended? I think so, right? On the women's.
Yes.
And they were kind of trying to push it clearly, like they were trying to get her through, like Fritz. Fritz was also on the verge of finishing, and every other court was already done, but they just wanted to get it done if possible. And yeah, then Clara came back, so definitely that was something. And now it's just 4 games all in the second set. So
yep. And yeah, I mean, since we're talking about tomorrow on the women's side is actually pretty good. I mean, you got some really good.
Yeah, let's start there. Yeah.
Matches. Yeah, I mean, Andreescu Noskova right away. That piques my interest. Even like something like Stephens, Schneider. You got Badosa, Fruvertova. That section was always going to be insanely watchable, as you put it on Twitter, right? With the Badosa.
Yeah, but don't you think Badosa is just going to dominate here now?
Kind of. But I think Brenda can make it interesting for sure.
I think Brenda fared very well in the Andreeva matchup when they were like both kind of not trying to dictate that much, and they were kind of playing this chess match of a tennis match. And it's basically weird, here, I think she might be more in trouble.
Like do you think Andreeva struggles more against opponents like that, where she can't really like sort of use the opponent's pace and power? Like you think back to some of her losses right now recently. It's mostly been against players like that, like more counter punching.
Yeah, I said this exactly yesterday on the WT Weekly Last Ball Drops yesterday. That basically, I think while there's also a limit to it, so like she doesn't like playing Sabalenka, for example, then you actually think she's gonna do a little bit better against someone with like moderate pace rather than someone with no pace at all. And yeah, I think that this is kind of how she lost the Brenda matchup. Yeah. Hello, Kirit. Today Nurlan was mentioning you all the time, although I don't know if you want to know what he said. But don't worry, I'm not gonna block you or anything, like Nurlan was suggesting.
Mm. Yeah, and then of course Osaka versus Navarro. That's a big one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about that actually. Osaka Navarro.
I'm not sure actually who is even like. I think Naomi will probably be a slight favorite going into that one, but like
That's
that
what
was,
that's what the odds say, and I kind of tend to agree, but it's not clear.
It's not. It's not. No, I mean,
I think it's not clear because it kind of requires her to step up her game the way she did at the French, where like she had a bit of a shaky first round and then she is amazing in the second. But I just don't know if it's a given. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she was very
You
close
actually
to the
didn't.
match against Perry.
Mhm.
She was 3-1 down in the third and had to be super clutch at 4-all and save 2 break points there, and just the forehand was sometimes a problem, but I don't know, with her really big serve. And also Carrot is right about Emma with big hitters. I mean, she does really absorb pace very, very well.
That's why I think she has a good shot. Yeah. When I read Emma at first, I was thinking about Raducanu, and I was like, no. But then I with Navarro, I totally agree. Yeah.
Raducanu versus Mertens. So
that's not a big hitter though.
Yeah. Raducanu against Mertens though. That is there a chance here for Emma to go for Raducanu to go to the second week? I mean, she is in the Sakari section, right?
I mean, yeah, she took over Alexandrova's spot in the draw, and there was a lot of chances for Alexandrova to go deep. But I think Mertens is maybe even tougher than Sakari.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, it's not clear. I think that the chance is there for the second week for Emma, but after the first round, I think yesterday I was a little. I don't know. I was a little disappointed. I know a few guys in the chat yesterday said that, well, she didn't play like a pushover. She played a very good defender in Zarazua. I'm not quite buying into that. I think she should be I don't know, getting through the court a little bit easier against someone like that. But, well, I guess we'll see how she keeps going the rest of the event. Maybe it's just kind of like the Draper thing where they both were a little anxious in their first rounds, but maybe they're going to ease into it. Who knows? 2 matches, or maybe even, well, actually, 2 matches that I really like tomorrow, and you didn't mention. One of them is I'm not really buying the upset there, or at least I'm not expecting it, but I will definitely want to watch Todoni against Goff to see how the Romanian talent is doing there, because she really seems to be quite something. I was hearing a lot of good stuff about her, and then watched her for the first time in the opening round against Danilovic. And also, surprisingly, there's a match with a Pole that I'm very excited for tomorrow.
You are? Does it have Magdalena in it? Or what?
It's actually not Magdalena. It's actually Magda Frank. I do think that Frank, if she's ever watchable, it's on grass, where she moves very well. She kind of plays that slice grinding style, and also just the ground strokes actually have some pace on them. Whereas on other courts, they really don't. They don't get through the court whatsoever. And I think she has a really nice shot against Haddad Maya. I'm actually really excited about that one.
Yeah, that seems pretty tight, actually. I don't know if they've ever played each other. I think
they have played twice. Last year in Montreal, it was 6-4, 6-2 for Haddad Maya. But 2 years ago, when they played on grass, Magda was even serving for it. She was 4-2 up in the third, but she lost in the deciding set tiebreak. And Haddad Maya ended up winning that event in Birmingham.
Yeah. I think there's some other ones, though, like Krejcikova, Kudermetova. I don't know who's going to win that. They both badly need to win.
I was going to mention that because both me and John have Kudermetova making the quarters, and it kind of just relies on her having a pretty poor draw. And I mean, poor draw, like a weak draw, in the sense that, it's easy for her. But it does also rely on her just, magically waking up. And I think on grass, she can wake up. But tomorrow might be actually pretty crucial. But I did have her in the quarters just because, well, she has the grass pedigree. It's kind of just about finding it once again. And I think the draw is good enough for her to potentially allow it.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Buxa against Moniro is the in that section for a potential third round. That's good.
I mean, at first it was supposed to be Vondrousova, but I also did not think that was a problem, right? So
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's also
So yeah, I
Golubic.
think she could easily play Iga in the quarters, for example, or Ostapenko in the quarters. Whoever really. But yeah, it really like requires her to magically step up, just like come out tomorrow and be a new version of herself. Well, not a new version of herself, but like find her game again. So yeah, it's a guessing game a little bit, but
Yeah. There is, I guess, also the Erika Andreeva taking on Vekic. I do
do you
expect
think that's
Vekic to be able
entertaining?
that is. I expect Vekic to win that, but still,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Erika Andreeva, of course, helped by Sabalenka's withdrawal. What else
And
is?
Vekic is also helped by Sabalenka's withdrawal because I don't care about the head-to-head between Vekic and Sabalenka. Donna is still happy about it, and Donna is still gonna feel like she has a good shot to make it deep now.
I think many players are going to be really happy by that withdrawal just because of Sabalenka's consistency in majors over the last 2 years.
Sure.
Like it helps so many players like that she's not playing because, I mean, not just Coco, but like many others like Keys and I mean like Andrescu could now reasonably get pretty deep. Like Andrescu and Noshkova, that's a match I'm definitely going to be watching. I don't even know who's the favorite in that one. Maybe Noshkova slightly, but I don't know. Seems
So your guess, if we were talking about odds, your guess would be Noshkova slightly, or
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually spot on.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, Andrescu's looked good so far on the grass, like not great, but pretty good.
Yeah,
So,
I was thinking of Andrescu after her Togenbosch run or wherever it was, if maybe it's gonna be her. But I
yeah,
guess
but then
since she's not been, yeah,
she lost to
exactly.
Blinkova, so then maybe that tips it in Noshkova's favor.
Yeah, I think
Because
if it was just her Togenbosch, I think Andrescu could have been the favorite. Because I think hype was kind of really raising about her at that point.
Yeah.
Although she did make the final there still, right? I mean, I guess
Yeah,
if
she
I
beat
was to
Osaka
say,
all
like,
the way.
I would probably think that Andrescu is a bit of a favorite, but I don't know. She seems a bit more reliable, of course, more in touch with her like variety and stuff too.
Yeah, I think she's gonna win the match, but I don't. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, I have her in the fourth round actually of this when I did the brackets. I had her losing to Keys, which because I don't know if the body would hold up past that, and also Keys is I like her chances to go pretty far here. So, but yeah, I think that's about it for like good matches tomorrow on the women's side.
I think so. Yeah, we might move on to the men's. Of course, we have a lot of these ones that are suspended, but I think we already mentioned them. And I guess tomorrow the big one is Berrettini Sinner. And as John already told you in the chat,
But you were going to
I
say
will be
Nakashima
doing
versus
this.
Thompson, man. Come on, no.
Um,
Second year in a row.
yeah, I mean, if we're going left field, then Paul Virtanen is probably my favorite match tomorrow. But for now, let's talk about the big one, Sinner Berrettini. This is going to be a match, as John already told you in the chat, that I'm gonna do tomorrow, very likely on the stream. So you guys should feel invited for that. Yeah, I mean, after the first round, I asked this question to Mario yesterday. After their respective first rounds, do you feel more confident in the upset or less confident in the upset?
Exactly the same as I was before. Like literally exactly the same. Like no difference.
That's what Mario said as well. That's why my reaction was like this, because Mario said the same.
Like exactly the same. In fact, like yeah, like because like also Berrettini also had a similar physical wobble, right? Like
Both of them had it, right? Yeah,
and so Sinner also had it. So like if they both have it, that doesn't change. That just takes us back to where we were before. So no, I would say the same. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be somewhat close, entertaining, but I don't really believe in the upset. I just don't. It's like Sinner is just too reliable for me. Still, I will say Sinner in 4 sets. That's my prediction.
The expertise on the grass court that I saw from Berrettini in the first round, other than set 3 when he was obviously struggling, and then later on as well after he took the painkillers, kind of makes me want to say I believe a bit more. But then again, yeah, as you said, I mean, they both had their issues. I really don't know if Matteo playing at such an increased intensity, even compared to the Fucsovics match, will be able to hold up enough to win 3 sets. I know that Matthew, for example, doesn't believe in it at all. And, well, I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Alex says that Shapo against Altmaier should be entertaining. I believe that Shapo should
Mm,
win this
Yeah,
super
Shapo
easily.
should
Like,
win straight sets. I think.
Yeah.
I think he should be able to get through. Were you surprised that he beat Jari in straights? I was surprised that it was
Well,
straights. I was surprised that he won.
I mean, given that we had zero info on sort of Jari before the event, and people said that he kind of showed up for the money in a way. Although the last two sets, I don't know, he seemed to have be making it competitive at least. But I don't know if I can say I was surprised, given we just had no info. So like neither result was gonna surprise me, I guess. But the matchup generally I consider favorable. I guess a bit favorable to Jari. So maybe, yeah. Does Sinner struggle with a slice, or is it a non-issue? Generally not. I think on grass he might still, but like not more than other players. I think
Yeah,
he's just
definitely not.
gonna be, well, if Matteo uses it intelligently, then he's gonna be good with it. But it's not gonna be because Sinner struggles with it, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, he has to make sure he really hits it really nicely in the corner. Otherwise, Sinner can also just run around it pretty quickly. He has good footwork right now, and he's just looks very sharp recovering in the corners. So, yeah. And also like the return game of Sinner, and like just how compact his strokes are. It's gonna be tougher than usual for Berrettini to just race through service games, and I could just see kind of a similar type of matches that like Sinner's been playing in Hala, where it's like feels pretty competitive, like on the scoreboard, but then like actually like in the tie breaks or in the big points, I could just really see Sinner.
Sinner was competitive. Sinner Struff was competitive. Sinner Hurkacz was not. Well, after the first set, but Sinner Struff was competitive, like actually competitive.
I think I'd believe more in the upset. Actually, this is one where like I would say like the lead-in really helped Sinner, because like if let's say like Sinner lost one of those matches earlier in that week, like let's say he lost to Greek Sport or he lost to Struff, I'd have more question marks. I might believe in the upset a little bit more, just because we didn't see him beat that type of molded player, and he kind of needed that really good week in Hala, I still think. So, yeah.
I'll be true to what I said about Alcaraz losing early in Queens. I don't.
Maybe that's just because he's drawn Berrettini. But if he had not drawn, if he, let's say, he had a more cozy draw, then I would agree. But like, I just think.
Yeah, I think that even with drawing Berrettini, I feel the same about a possible upset, regardless of how Sinner did in Halle, unless he had some serious physical issues losing in Halle, of course. But like, if he lost to, well, maybe not Marozsan, but if he lost to Struff in the quarters, I would probably feel like the exact same as I'm feeling right now. But yeah, we'll see, I guess. Is there a chance for Otto Virtanen to beat Tommy Paul?
I think there's a little bit of a chance. Like, it's not.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, Martinez also was able to, get a set there and in the third, and I don't know. I mean, I think Virtanen can be quite dangerous.
He played some super focused tennis finally against Purcell. I don't know if it was just the matchup that he kind of enjoys, or if it was maybe like some sort of extra motivation with the grandpa who died last week, and he went to the funeral, and apparently the grandpa was a big supporter of his career. Maybe Otto is like kind of playing for him this week. We've seen that happening before, or at least heard from players that they kind of feel like it going into the week, like the Rinderknech Carreño Busta match in Gijón, for example. That's a very random example, but yeah, it can happen. But I do feel like there's a bit of a chance there if Virtanen literally plays a perfect match. Otherwise, it's just going to be swiftly punished. I am very excited about Dimitrov Shang as well. Jerry played a very good first round, which was surprisingly clean over Christian Garin, was serving great. And Dimitrov apparently had some issues as well.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that has some good competitive tennis written on it. I don't think Shang is gonna win, but I could definitely see that going 4 or 5.
Alice Eubanks as well is a match I'm interested in, given that Chris is, of course, fighting to stay in the top 100. And Alice, well, in the qualifying, he looked like a potential dark horse.
Yeah. That's what I have circled for sure. And actually, Casper Ruud, he could win another round.
I think he will. I'm honestly not even thinking about this match that often, because I think he's just going to win.
I think so. But actually, and then we also have another matchup in the Karatsev-Khachanov rivalry. I mean, that is a thing, right?
It's
They
like
have
what,
played a bunch.
5-2 or something like that, right?
Yeah, 5-2, I think, for Karen. So, I think I just expect Karen to win this, but you know, you never know. It's Karatsev. Actually, a Chorich versus Tiafoe could be really important for, especially Francis, if he's able to win that, you know, and just get to a third round here. Maybe that's the sort of match. Maybe he can turn around the season. Maybe.
But he's playing Alcaraz in the third round then, right? But yeah. I mean, if
I don't think he would call that
Tiafoe
loss
or Chorich
a
get
clown,
to
you
the
know?
third round and they are like semi-competitive against Alcaraz, that's already a good event for them, given their seasons. So
Yeah.
there's a
I don't
few
see
like
Alcaraz.
completely unpredictable matches as well. You know, like Kazo Bublik or Zhang Struff. Like,
Yeah, that's what John is just saying the same. Alcaraz the clown. Yeah.
Alcaraz the clown. Yeah, if he loses
Yeah.
to Tiafoe, he's gonna be a bit of a clown. But otherwise, no, not really. And there's also Wawrinka Monfils, which I think will be quite interesting to some. I don't know if I'm personally going to watch it. Probably not, especially if it's a bit later in the day and it will clash with Berrettini Sinner. But
I have a feeling Monfils is just gonna win that one. Like,
yeah,
kinda.
that's kind of how I feel too. Wawrinka beat Broom, like he just had so much more quality than Broom, but given Monfils had actually a pretty decent wake-up call on grass in Mallorca, I kind of also think that he's just gonna make it pretty easily. And actually, this matchup, you know, I looked at their history, and they first played in 2004, which of course is always pretty nice in terms of like 20 years of rivalry. But even in the prime of Wawrinka, it was not really lopsided ever.
Yeah, I mean, Gael won the Rotterdam final in 2019. Which,
oh, that's not the prime, but yeah, sure, that's still
I don't actually remember any of their matches in, like, when they were in their. I don't think they actually ever met in their prime. I mean, I think Wawrinka beat him in straights in 2017 at Rolling Arrows.
Yeah, I mean,
On the way to
it's
the final.
pretty tough to say when Monfils had his prime, right?
Yeah.
Like he's had a lot of good years. Like he definitely had like a bit of a first prime in 2009, 10, I would say, maybe 8 as well, you can count. And then it's probably a bit of a skip until like 2016 when he has another, one of the best seasons of his career. So it's kind of tough to say when Gael actually had his prime. With Wawrinka, it's much easier. That's like 2014, 16, maybe 17.
Yeah. That's true.
But let me see actually when they played. So it was the ATP doesn't even show their match from 2004. That's one of these qualifying ones that they don't even have on the website. So yeah, wow, great stuff. But 2000, yeah, basically they had 6 years when they didn't play. So
no. But, and then the winner of that. The winner of Wawrinka Monfils. I think after that it's probably going to be tough for either player, but.
So who's the winner playing of Wawrinka Monfils?
Right, Dimitrov Shang maybe. Yeah, probably. I can double check, but let me see.
Yeah, I don't remember honestly because I guess I just wasn't thinking that Monfils would I was thinking that Monfils makes the third round, but I was just like writing him off almost completely.
I think I had him getting to the third round, losing to Grigor, so that sounds about right.
And yeah, that first match was Lyon qualifying in 2004 between Wawrinka and Monfils, and some of the qualifying records on the ATP website don't exist.
These are two of the best juniors in the world. These are two of the best juniors, for sure. Like.
In that year, yeah, for sure. I mean, 2004 was exactly the year, right, when Gael almost won the calendar slam in the juniors, and I think that Wawrinka maybe was like a year later or a year earlier when
I think he won the 2003 Rolling Arrows juniors.
2003 Roland Garros juniors, yeah, and Gael almost won the calendar slam in 2004, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that must have been a pretty cool match actually in Lyon qualies. If we were around at the time, that's something I would be watching for sure.
Yeah, you would be doing a stream for that.
Yeah, Lyon qualifying, I'd be doing a stream for Wawrinka Monfils, maybe. Kind of the equivalent of today's, I don't know, like Fonseca, who else was like super good. Well, Landaluce. No, Landaluce. Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, let's say Fonseca, Landaluce, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's more or less it, right? I mean, do we have anything else to talk about?
That Paul Vertanen section. I mean, Kazan and Bublik. Bublik
Yeah.
just came back from 2 sets to love down, in his first round, and so. And Paul I mean, Kazan survived that 5-setter where he almost blew that lead in the 5th-set tiebreak. I think he was up was it that he was up 7-0 or something, and then it was 8-all. It was looking kind of dicey for a while, but just about
Yeah,
pulled through.
I think that we talked about this on WhatsApp, but like Kazo can probably win against Bublik the same way he won against Bergs, but I think
Yeah,
especially against Paul, he would kind of have to go like super all out on the attack, which he hasn't
Yeah.
really done in a while. But yeah, I mean that I'm not saying he's gonna win against Bublik because I just have no clue. I mean, it's predicting Alexander
it's-
Bublik matches,
Yeah, for sure. And then I also thought, so the winner of Brandon Nakashima, Jordan Thompson is going to get to the 4th round and play Alcaraz. That's what I also had pre-tournament. So let's see.
Yeah, sure. I don't remember who is their potential third round opponent, but that's what I
Ugo
was.
Humbert, who?
Okay. Yeah,
could
then
come
it
up.
could be Ugo Humbert.
Yeah,
sure.
could be. I think he plays Botic, and he should get through that one. I mean,
and Vanch, tell us what happened last year when Brandon Nakashima and Jordan Thompson played in the first at Wimbledon.
I think he was just so thinking about wanting to play Djokovic, that he couldn't finish from 2 sets to love up. 2 sets to love up and a break, and then loses in 5.
6-2, 6-2 in the first 2 sets for Brandon, and then Jordan wins it in 5. Jordan for the second.
But they have a
straight
pretty
year.
good rivalry. Like I think this is their 6th match, and I think Jordan leads 3-2. But all their matches have been like very, very close. Actually, somewhat entertaining. Most of the time.
I actually think Brandon is kind of almost the better player, but I kind of trust Thompson to be also the gritty and the composed version of himself that he's been recently, and just kind of
he's also just tactically a little more sound, maybe, and just like
yes, he is for sure. So he it might be a similar match, right? That like he gets the upper hand on him early, Brandon, and then Thompson is like trying to make his way back, which is precisely what he did in the first round against Kotov. And it's a similar type of game as well, Kotov Nakashima. So yeah, it could go like somewhat like it again. Maybe not like last year when Brandon just completely dominated for 2.5 sets and then lost, but yeah, just Brandon having some edge early on and then maybe falling apart at some point. But yeah, I do think that's more or less it. Then we covered a lot of the results from today. We covered the matches that will be happening tomorrow as well. So you guys make sure to tune into our coverage tomorrow. As we said, there's going to be Berrettini Sinner with me for sure. Vanch will probably be with Gil Gross on the Last Ball Drops show. So also make sure to catch that. And thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you, Vanch. And I'll see you guys soon.
Yep. See you guys.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.